bunch of injuries.
Yep.
But I know you always say not an excuse.
Yep.
Why is the tackling issues continue to be a problem?
I don't know. Because we go week to week, and it's one week we tackle really well, the next week we don't. Give credit. I mean, A-Chain's not an easy tackle. Like, let's give credit where credit is due, but we're not worried about our focus is on us, and made that point today with the defense of, like, two things. Like, we've got a standard, and there's got to be consistency in that realm of whether it's tackling, the ability to make a play. Too inconsistent right now. And the guys know that. Every season is a little bit different. You encounter different challenges, and as a coaching staff, we got to do a great job of putting them in those positions throughout the week. And it's kind of like putting out a fire here, you're putting out a fire. That's what we do as coaches, and so we'll get back at it. Our guys will go to work. It's a resilient group, and correct the things we need to correct.
When it is a fundamental like that, what does coaching it look like? Like in a very tangible
That's a great,
level?
It's breaking it back down to the foundation of tackling. And really, it's honestly what kind of tackles did each guy miss? That's what you do as a position coach, and you've got to come up with drills to put them in those positions to fix that fundamental. And that goes for all the fundamentals that we have. But again, it's the guys aren't going to make 100% of the tackles. It's not going to happen. It's the National Football League. But our goal is to minimize those and make sure our make the play grade is at a level that's suitable to meet the goals that we want to meet. And the guys know that. They're not trying to miss tackles, but we have to do that for them. We have to help them with that. They're accountable, and then we're accountable to help them in those situations and provide drills that can allow them to be in those situations.
We just got an update from Sean about Marcus West, and I'm not trying to pry into his condition, but your reaction to knowing that he's been discharged.
I talked to him. He's in good spirits. So Marcus is a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
When it comes to the revolving door of injured players that you've been dealing with, I'm not using injuries as an excuse, and I know you won't.
You guys are well trained with that.
What are the challenges? What are the challenges of having to deal with what you've had to deal with? And I mean, Joey's out there playing with the club.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the consistency amongst each other, right? The continuity amongst each other, the communication that goes, down the line or through the secondary, whatever that may be. And that certainly is a challenge. It's our job as coaches to make sure we're providing that, the opportunities to increase, the continuity piece of it, throughout the week. But sure, Sean says it. We're not making excuses. The standard in this building is this next man up. It has been since we got here 9 years ago. And, the standard doesn't change from player to player. It's coaches do a great job of making sure guys are ready to go.
How did you see Max Hairston respond after the Waddle touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, it's corner. I've always said it since I've been in – well, I said it after a few years of being in the NFL, but the two hardest positions to play in the NFL are quarterback and cornerback. I mean, and that's not going to be the last touchdown Max Hairston gives up. It's not going to be the last catch he gives up. Playing corner in this league is a challenge. There's really good receivers, but it was awesome to see him respond. Again, we talk about the resiliency all the time, and Max is going to be a good player. He's going to be a good player. The faster you learn from your failures is the best teacher you can have.
Where is Terrel Bernard right now in your estimation midway through the year?
Yeah, Terrell is getting back into a rhythm, and he missed a little bit of time there, and just getting him back into a rhythm and helping him find his flow, and I know he wants to do that. A couple weeks ago against the same team, he's sealing the game, close to stealing the game with an interception. We just got to we got to help him find his rhythm, find his flow, get him back in the rhythm of playing Mike linebacker, and he'll be just fine.
When Shaq comes back, will there be any consideration to him playing, even if Terrell's healthy, in that spot?
We're going to try to get the best people on the field at all times, So whatever that looks like at any position, we're going to do that. I'm not saying anything about Terrell. I'm not saying anything about Shaq. That's just our philosophy here, and that's the way we're going to go about it.
And I know when there's a performance like that, you mentioned Achane, it's reactionary, but it did feel like Terrell and Matt it seemed like a bad game for them.
Yeah, I mean they certainly wanted to impact the game at a higher clip than they did. They know that it's been the case here for a lot of good players. There's games that come and go, but impactful players need to make impactful plays, and it's not going to happen all the time. But that's what we've got to push, and that's what you got to have in the National Football League.
Did you get a chance to catch up with him after the game?
Who's that?
Terrell.
Okay.
You said you met with the defense today. He's the captain. Like, what's your sense from him?
Yeah, he's not sad. No one's satisfied. He's not satisfied. That's not. It's not who we are as a team. You've got to come ready to go, and you've got to come ready to play complementary football from our perspective, right? We had been pretty good when we had been put in sudden change situations. We don't look at anything like, if our offense happens to turn the ball over, we look at it as an opportunity for us to either take it away. There was the one when we talk about backed up, that's an opportunity for us to score on defense, and that's where we have to be complementary. Our offense has bailed us out plenty of times, and at times we're going to have to bail the offense out. And if you look at it, that's the one thing we talked about today was when we're in sudden change situations, we didn't do a good enough job, which over the years we've done a good job. And our guys will grasp onto that and use that as a tool to learn and make sure in those situations we're locked in and ready to freaking go.
Going back to the tackling for 1 second, there's some subjectivity probably in what it constitutes a missed tackle.
Yeah.
Some people may view it differently, right?
Yeah.
But in your mind, because this isn't the first time that we've talked to you about this topic this year, how big of an issue for it is it on defense? I mean, is it the biggest one outside of injuries, which are out of your control? I mean,
Right. I mean, it certainly starts with that, right? I mean, Vince Lombardi said it a long time ago. He talked about blocking and tackling. That's where it starts. When the player on offense that gets the ball, when they get the ball, they need to be on the ground as soon as possible. And if they're not on the ground, it's not good enough. It's as simple as that. I don't mean to put it in elementary terms, but that's what it is. And, over the years, you talk about there's no such thing as a bad tackle. Do you correct technique and the fundamental piece of it? Yes, but if the guy's on the ground, it's a good tackle, and we didn't get the guy on the ground in the situations we needed to. And that's across the board. And, when you think it's, getting better, all of a sudden this game shows up, and you look back at it and you're like, why? So we've got to answer that why, and I know the guys will respond to it.
Bobby, over the last few weeks, how have you seen some younger DBs grow, like Cole Bishop, Maxwell Hairston, and Jordan Hampton?
It's been pretty cool to watch. I think Cole is kind of finding that rhythm and that flow as I talked about earlier. I think we talked with him about being in. He just seems like he's more in control of the down in and down out. Max has had 2 picks in 2 games. It's not too bad, but there's a lot of things that he has got to get corrected. And then Jordan Hancock there just wasn't a lot of action for him yesterday, but it's good to get him out there. He's certainly a talented player. So it's cool to see those guys out there and finding some success, right? So.
What did you make of DaQuan and his return? And I know you guys have to get a little creative with him
Yeah.
given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Just how did he come through yesterday?
Yeah, I think he's got to knock a little rust off. But for him to play end and to play inside, that was tremendous for us. Much appreciated. And again, a selfless guy who, I'll do whatever it takes to help us try to win a game. So, I thought it was a solid outing. Just get him back in rhythm, get him back going.
Bobby, throughout the first mostly going to heavy personnel base.
Yeah.
When you're going
Yep.
against heavy. The last couple of games, you've been going basically all nickel.
Yep.
Is that more a product of who you're playing against?
Yeah, it's going to be a week-to-week thing. It's just game plan. How does it fit in? What do we want to do? And these certain, there's certain things you can do in nickel. There's certain things you can do in your base package that you can't do in the other. And so it's you look at the whole big picture of the offense, and then you're like, okay, what are we best in if we want to get to this, if we want to get to that? That's really what it is.
I was wondering that in relation to Cam, because he's been in the line the last 2 games, so I was wondering if there was any correlation there.
What do you mean by that?
Cam, just like he,
Like getting him on the field
well,
more?
Terry wasn't available for the
Yeah.
last 2 games, so I was wondering if there was a correlation between
No,
being nickel.
no correlation. No correlation.
Something
I mean,
similar.
Cam's a good player.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, Cam's a good player, but
Brady, something similar, but for you, I know, like, for all the coaches, consistency is such a big part, whether the team wins or loses on
Yep.
Sunday. But when you're rebounding from a loss like yesterday,
Yep.
is there anything you do differently this week in just trying to move forward?
no, I think the biggest thing is, to make sure you don't lose sight of where you went wrong, right? You got to make sure you get those things corrected. Make sure the emphasis is on the things that we need to get better at, fundamentally. And at the same time, you can't. It's not the end of the season. It's not the end of the season. We're 6-3, and our guys need to have an intentionality and urgency and understanding. Okay, this is where we're at. This is what we need to do to get to where we want to go, and this is where we're at right now, and this is what we've got to get fixed. So I know the guys will be rocking and rolling, chomping at the bit to get back at it and get those things corrected.